Welcome and bienvenue au Festival Fantasia. Welcome to Fantasia International Film Festival. I am very pleased to be able to present the director of Yvonne the Terrible, Mario Abbade, who made the film about the legendary Brazilian filmmaker Ivan Cardoso. It is honestly my pleasure to have you here. What an incredible experience. I fell in love with Ivan's work years ago. Like before anyone knew him, someone had sent me these like bootleg DVDs because they're so hard to find, especially outside of Brazil. And having this film as kind of a document that pays homage to him and his voice is so incredible. I would love if you could kind of go right in and explain what motivated you to create this film and how did you end up meeting Yvonne?
I love horror films, terror films since I was a kid. I have a dream probably in the future to do a terror film with fiction. And I'm a journalist too. I'm a movie reviewer. I'm a film critic for almost 30 years, writing newspapers, interviewing a lot of directors. And I interviewed Ivan a lot of times for my newspaper where I write. And when I started this career as a filmmaker, director, the first director that I want to talk with was Neville de Almeida. Neville Almeida was the guy who did the marginal films in Brazil. We call marginal because they are not regular films. They're films that kind of realistic films. And I was very interesting about him. And Neville lost a lot of his first films. You don't have the films anymore. But Ivan was a kid at the time that Neville was doing his films, and Ivan went there to do like a making of. You even have this name, making of, but went there with a Super 8 and start filming a lot of things that Neville was directing his films. So we have a lot of material about Neville that I use in Neville film, and then I told him, Ivan, I want so much that my second film to tell your story because nobody knows that they have a filmmaker in Brazil doing films, a terror film, horror with Dracula, with Wolfman, with a lot of these universal monsters. They're so famous in America, around the world, in Europe, but not in Brazil. In Brazil, we don't have this kind of cultural stuff, you know. And so he agreed to do his film with me. And it was very good. It was very nice because I already knew his story. I already knew about his life. So it was easy to go to his house and make him very comfortable to talk about all the things that he did since I was a kid, as a photographer, as a filmmaker, as a plastic artist, as a painter and everything. And his house kind of crazy. You saw all these things that I show in the films is his real home. His real home is like that. A lot of Draculas and Frankensteins and Wolfman all over the place, even in his bathrooms, where he sleep. And they have a big house. So it's like, how can I say? It's like a film there. You don't even have to make a scenario. You just start filming. You can put like serial killers or monsters inside there. You're going to believe that they live there, you know?
I mean, you could have taken so many different approaches. Obviously, you have such a unique opportunity to be able to speak to him, and so candidly, his personality comes through immediately. And you also have all of these elements of animation and collage. Can you talk about how you brought that element into the film?
Yeah, because the work that Ivan does and still do it in his home is kind of crazy things, you know. He has an idea and start doing. Like one day he was in his home and he saw a lot of cockroaches, and some were he killed some of them, some were alive. He put on a plate and make up. Now I'm going to make a soup of cockroaches and put some paint. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I know it's kind of gross too. It's kind of gross, but he do this kind of stuff. So he works like that. He puts everything when he's doing a work, not too much in his films, but when he's working his home, painting and doing things with skulls, and he gets one thing this and he put it all together. It's kind of crazy. He had a lot of snakes in his home, not alive snakes, but see a lot of snakes and skulls and stuff like that, and put all together and make like a little short films. Sometimes even using today Super 8. So yeah, wow. So it's kind of crazy. So I start having all these ideas when I was filming him. When I go to the editing room, I start putting all these things to homage to his works. I start putting all these elements on the film to looks like my film would be like his films. I want that my film you make the audience feel that he was watching a Ivan film. That's why I went to that park and put the Coffin Joe screaming. Then we go inside. That thing that we go inside of the park, the amusement park, it's like Ivan's head. That's why I have his face in the entrance of the amusement park. So we go with the little car. So we go inside his head. And his head's like that, with animation, with crazy stuff, with serious work and fun, and sex, death, everything's in his head. So that's why we go like this car. And every time we make a turn, we show something about him, about the story. Then finally, when we show everything, we go out and Ivan's flying like a Dracula, little bat, a little vampire.
Yeah, I mean, it fits so beautifully. He's such a playful filmmaker and a bit of a trickster, and I feel like the documentary really captures that energy. Were there any particular challenges in making the film for you? Obviously, you had this great opportunity, but whenever you're making a documentary, there's unexpected situations sometimes. Did anything come up?
Yeah, see, I have a script, and I went to his home with a script. But we were talking about things. So I asked him, Ivan, why all your films, you film an actress having a bath? Why? Oh, I love baths. So can you take a bath for me? Oh yeah, I can do it. That. So wasn't on the script, but talking with him. So he loved the idea. Then he went to the bathroom, started taking really a bath, and start filming him. It was kind of funny. And a girl that works with him was like a assistant, was with him there working. And he asked me, Mario, the only thing that I want for you, I want you to buy for me, how you say, a coffin?
Yeah, coffin.
Yeah. He wants so much to have a coffin in his home. I don't know why, but he wants. So I make a very good surprise. Was 31 of December of last year. So 5 hours to midnight to come the new year, I went there with, I have to go to a funerary home with that big car, black car, and the coffin inside. So we ring the bell, and then, who is there? Oh, we bringing your coffin. So he got a little, why? It's not, nobody died here. Why you bring a coffin to my house? Then I appear on the door of the coffin. He loved it. So he put it in his living room and started playing. And the next day, his assistant went there. He started having ideas about vampires. And so I started filming. So it's this kind of thing, Ivan's home is like a very nice nut home,
Yeah.
It's very nice. Like, but not like in a bad way, but it's a good way. You have fun the whole time. You laugh a lot.
Yeah.
Because he plays a lot.
And it stimulates the imagination, I imagine. You have
Yes.
it's a very creative space. I have a question from one of the viewers, King, who you kind of talked about it a little bit, but he wants to know about how much of Ivan's 8mm films he saved. So obviously some of them go back a long time. So he kind of wants to know about that collection.
Oh, Ivan is very nice. I never met somebody to have so much material in his home, and everything's there. He didn't lose anything. Everything is there. You have a big museum there. You have all the 8mm there, 16mm there. He still have it. He put some of them on digital and made a lot of short films. He made a very, very funny film they call The Devil's Orgy. It's very funny. In Brazil, it's Bacanal do Diabo. Diabo means devil, and Bacanal is like the Greek god, Bacanal, Baco, everybody having sex, everything. He put most of his, a lot of these little 8-minute films on this big film. And it's very funny, very, very funny. But he only can show these films on festivals because he put so much stuff there and stuff that he can't put there. He put like Bob Dylan having like the most sexual man in the world is Bob Dylan. The guys who go and have sex with all the women in the world. So he puts Bob Dylan talking and mixed with other stuff. It's so funny because Bob Dylan is not a sexual man. No. He's not even beautiful. He's very nice. I love his music. But Ivan put like this. They have another 8-minute film that he put together John Lennon and Yoko Ono walking, like they were walking on the Niagara Falls. He put everything together. It's very funny. If you have the opportunity, you have to watch that. The name is Orgy of the Devil, but he can't release this commercial because he don't have the rights of all these people that he put on his films.
Yeah, that's incredible.
He can show in a festival. Festival, no problem. But release commercial, he can't. He's gonna be sued by everybody in the world. like the first film of John Waters.
Of course.
It's the same thing.
I mean, and it speaks to his creativity where he's enjoying the play of making cinema. Like, it's not like, obviously when you make a movie like that, you know that you're probably never going to be able to release it in a commercial sense, but there's a joy in the creation.
Yeah, he don't care about it. That's nice about him. He don't care about money. You know, he have an idea, and I say, Ivan, you can't do that because you don't have the rights about that. You can use like a scene from Rosemary's Baby from Roman Polanski and put in your film like he's on Brazil with another girl. You can't do that. No, but I want to do it. So he does it. He shows in festivals. He was in January. He was in Rotterdam Festival. And he was with his new short film that's very, very funny. The name of the thing, I think in English, is The Eye Drops of Roger Corman Makes Me Crazy, something like that. So he got Roger Corman. Roger Corman was in Brazil. Roger was in Brazil. And Roger put some eye drops on his eyes. So he started going crazy and a lot of images going. And Roger was so it's very, very, if you have the chance, you have to watch. It's very, very funny because Roger Corman went went to his home and did all these things and they filmed together. It's very, very funny.
Yeah, I know. I just missed it because it was playing at the Sao Paulo Film Festival, like literally 2 days ago, and I just missed the window, but I'm going to try to track that down. I mean, the thing is, I think for a lot of the audience, this might be the first time that they're introduced to Ivan's work at all. And obviously you kind of go through so much of what he does. But if you were going to recommend someone or an audience member were to see their first two of his films, do you have any in particular that you would point people in the direction to?
I think the Seven Vampires, I think is very funny and shows a lot of things because have the plant of the Roger Corman film on that, have music, have rock and roll, and have a lot of vampires, sex, with a lot of deaths, and very funny. I think the Seven Vampires. If you watch this film, you can understand about what's going on in Ivan's head.
Yeah, I mean, that one I haven't seen for a while, but that was always my favorite. And I think what is so interesting about him is he does a lot of the comedy in the edit. So there's a lot of whiplash, you know, it's like a lot of it is like these juxtapositions that are so extreme that you sometimes, if you blink, you kind of worry that you missed something, but that's the joke. And the joke is this constant back and forth. It's like, it's really incredible. That's the one I would recommend, but I haven't seen everything. So I think that's a great recommendation. I mean, you also mentioned that your next, you want to in the future create fiction. Do you have anything you can discuss with us on those terms about your future projects or what you would like to do in the future?
Yeah, see, I wrote two scripts. That's one script's a comedy, and it's about a guy here in Brazil that he lies a lot. He lies to the government, he lies to women. It's innocent lies, but a lot of innocent lies sometimes get you in trouble. It's a very funny. I wrote a script, and I don't know if you're gonna get a production company to do it, but I even wrote a book about it and released a book in Brazil. And the project that I love so much is about the first disco in Brazil in '76. And this is an amazing story because the guy who owns this disco was a Brazilian guy that was the Brazilian. He fought for America on the Vietnam War in the '70s, and he has a lot of medals. He's the most Brazilian who went. He's an American because he went to nine. He was a kid. He went to America. He wants to stay there, but he didn't have a visa to stay there. So he thought, oh, if I go and enlist on the army, probably I can stay here. So he did that. And America accepted because you guys are having a war with the Vietnam. He didn't expect he went, they sent him to Vietnam. He went to the war. He got hurt 2 times. So when he went back, he's a colonel, a lieutenant colonel on your army. So he had money because now he's an American. So he thought in his head, I want to do a disco. So he did a disco in New York before Studio 54.
Wow.
The name of the disco was Ipanema Disco because of Brazil. It was very successful. So he went back to Brazil. He did the New York City disco in Ipanema. So it's kind of crazy. It was the first discotheque in the whole Brazil. And was very, so he was very successful for 3 years. Then he got some partners, and these partners, some of them, they do illegal gambling in Brazil. So they have like a showdown. People kill each other, and then he had to close the disco. He went back to America. So it's a very nice story that I wrote a book, but it's a very expensive movie. A production, because you have to film like in New York, you have to film in Brazil. So it's a very expensive film. But the production company make an agreement with me. If you do a little film for me and it's very successful, I will get you the money to do your film. So I have another script that I wrote about terror film. Is a thriller with some elements, supernatural elements on the film. And I'm just finished last week. Let's hope that I can get the money to make this little film. It's going to be like something like The Witch.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but not that story. It's another story. That's a real story here in Brazil. That a woman that have not a good relationship with her husband.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of he was aggressive with her, and he bring his friends to his home, and they drink a lot, and she loved the guy, but she gets spanked by him a lot and everything. And then she went to a woman to get help with spiritual stuff. And she did a lot of stuff there. I don't want to talk the whole film, but when she went back home, this spirit came with her. So she changed, and she killed him and some of his friends, and went to trial. But she don't remember what she did. She claimed was the spirit. So
That sounds really interesting. I mean, I hope you get
Yes.
it made.
Yeah.
It's a difficult time right now.
Yes.
I mean, we're gonna have to finish up in a little bit, but I mean, obviously, you seem to be working outside of the government funding in Brazil because there's particular challenges right now. Is there anything you have to say about that situation? I know that it changes every day, and it's a
That's
bit.
the worst. That's the worst. See, here in Brazil, it's kind of crazy. I don't know if you guys know about the actual president here. That is a
Yeah,
crazy
we hear a
guy.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He don't believe on the virus. He don't believe in anything. So he went to we have an agency here to help us to do the films. And he just stopped the agency. So we have a lot of money to do the films, but this money is closed by him. So nobody's getting money to do any kind of film. Uh, he's kind of crazy guy, you know, because he believes in stuff that even bother to say. So he don't want us to make films about these themes, you know. He wants
Mm-hmm.
only to do films about that. Oh, the world is so great, the world is so nice, about the family, a man, a woman, and his kids. He don't want to make films about the real society that we have around the world. For him, only exists women, men, they're married and they have kids. So it's like yeah, it's like he's like a Donald Trump as worse than Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
I mean, it's if people don't know, yeah, it's a really bad situation. He closed the Cinematheque down because he keeps putting in people who are supposed to do what he wants, but he's kind of crazy, like you say, and no one can do exactly what he wants. It's actually, I think that's why it's so fantastic that Yvonne has this amazing collection as well, because you're talking about an archive that's also under threat. You have films that have anything that's not a happy Brazilian story just not exist. So you have this incredible legacy of Brazilian genre films, which Yvonne, we have Coffin Joe, we have like this entire history that already has dealt with that. They went through that in the 70s as well. Like these are films that were a lot of films made under a different dictatorship. And I'm not saying that that's what's happening now, but it's moving definitely in that direction.
Yeah, in Brazil was so nice last year because we have like Kleber Mendonça, Bacurau, Aquarius. We have Brazilian,
incredible, yeah.
Yeah, Brazilian directors winning prizes in Cannes, in other festivals, very important festivals. So we're doing a nice job. So the government, you have to support us, but no, you don't want it.
Yeah. I mean, it's awful. I mean, I wish you the best of luck, and I would like to thank you once again for speaking with me and hopefully introducing a completely new audience to Ivan as a person, because he's also like, you kind of talked a lot about it. He's larger than life. He's such a character, but also a film career that I think outside of Brazil is still like searching for discovery. And Ivan is still alive. He's still making films. So this is definitely the time and the moment to appreciate him. I'd like to, again, just thank you. We're going to finish this up. Tell your friends if you saw the film and you want to share that experience with other people, and definitely look out for Ivan Cardoso's films as well. Thank you. Bon cinéma.
Thank you so much for this invitation. It was a real pleasure to be here. And it's a pity that the festival is not have a presential festival, because if Ivan was there, it's going to be very funny. Everybody's going to laugh a lot if he was in the movie theater with you guys there.
Yeah, that would have been incredible. I would hope that we can do that again in the future. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Thank you so much.